Welcome back to The Long Way Home. I'm your host, Josh Bearheart Hawk, and today we're talking about what is real. This is a really relevant topic, I feel like, in the past couple of years especially, because it's become really hard to tell the difference between what is real and what is fake, especially on the internet. Now, there was a time back in the day, back in my day, as the old folks say now. I guess I'm kind of old, but back in the late '80s, into the '90s, there were times where you could have the occasional thing that was kind of like propaganda that was blown up. That was the best example I can think of is the Blair Witch Project when it was first released. It was something brand new. They did a lot of web marketing. There was a lot of stuff that was done online, and that was something that hadn't really been done. There was a website created for it, some different videos and behind the scenes kind of stuff that was uploaded to this to make it look more real, And it was the first time that it became big, that became really well known. As far as like that brand of marketing, right? And people believed it was real. I believed it was real. And a lot of people thought, oh my God, this is actually a movie where they're showing these kids that disappeared, right? They're showing these people that were recording this thing and they disappeared, and this is a real thing that happened. And it obviously it wasn't. It was just completely made up, right? But it was believable. And I think at that point, a lot of big companies took notice. A lot of future marketers took notice. And as the internet grew and as it became bigger, it became more common to use some of these things, to use some of these tactics to spread awareness about your product. So you had other movies that would use media marketing, that would use internet websites and that kind of stuff. So you had these other places that would do the same thing. And that became more prevalent as time went on. And then YouTube came along. And prior to YouTube, you had some social media. You had some, there was MySpace and there's Facebook and there's, so you had some basic social media. But YouTube was the first really big platform that was like, you can record a video. Anybody can record a video and they can upload it to this platform and you can do it for free. You didn't have to pay anything. You didn't have to, it doesn't matter what it was. You could upload it for free, right? And at first glance, it's like, this is a really cool idea. You can upload, you sit down and record a podcast. You can upload a video of just goofing around at the zoo. Like the first YouTube video, I think, was the guy, what's his face, the founder of YouTube at the zoo. So you can do this kind of stuff. But companies saw this as a marketing tool. And they saw it as a place that we can put our commercials on there and they'll kind of live on in perpetuity. And so that started happening. But it wasn't just commercials. It was other forms of marketing. It was other ways that companies could reach out to people that maybe weren't normally shown on television. Maybe things that were too taboo for TV. So there was that kind of thing. But as YouTube grew, you got more and more of this bullshit out there. You got more and more of this stuff that was questionable. Should this be on here? Should this not be on here? Websites expanded. The internet grew. It became a bigger and bigger part of our everyday lives, to the point where today you can't go anywhere or do anything without seeing something internet related. I go to the metro parks to go hiking, and on the signs now they have QR codes. To get more information or download a map, scan the QR code. It doesn't matter where you go, there is something internet related available. And on the one hand, it's made life easier in some ways. Google Maps is a hell of a lot easier than paper maps. You don't have to print out your MapQuest directions. So in some ways it's made life better, but in a lot of ways it's also made life more difficult. Because, for instance, let's say you are just trying to decide if you want to go out to a new restaurant. And so you go online, you start looking at reviews. Well, you see some really great reviews, Maybe you see some really bad reviews. But you don't know if those reviews are real. Because companies can pay for good reviews. Companies can pay to get rid of bad reviews on websites. There are companies that exist specifically to help other companies remove negative reviews. There's a commercial that I absolutely hate every single time it comes on. Maybe you've seen it. If you watch it in television, I don't know if it's been on YouTube or not, but if you've watched any kind of television, you might have seen it, where the guy's sitting there and he's like interviewing with this woman for some kind of, I don't know if it's for a contract or some kind of job or something. But, she says, oh, we're really happy with what you have, but there's just one more thing we have to ask you about. And then she pulls up these internet search results that are like, I guess, bad things about his company. And he's like, I can't believe that garbage is still out there. And my first question is always like, well, first of all, the way you're responding, maybe some of that garbage isn't actually garbage. And two, you're telling me that if I have bad reviews, I can pay a company to come in and remove those bad reviews? So you can't even trust that the reviews you're seeing for locations are actually real people or actually real reviews. You have no way of knowing. Even on Amazon. Amazon's got the verified buyer thing now. But even then, so many Amazon reviews are fake. There are so many out there that just companies will pay to have 4 and 5 star reviews added. They will pay to have written reviews added. You can go online to websites now and pay people, large groups of people, to go and review positively or negatively things. There's a lot of YouTube channels that have taken off because they have paid bots and these companies to come in and just like a bunch of their videos and comment random shit. If you go through the YouTube comment section, you've got your normal trolls. But you also have a lot of spam, a lot of bots, a lot of bullshit. As you're looking through the comments, it's like, who's writing this stuff? What the hell's going on here? It's insane the amount of just crap that is online. And there's so much, and then it moves into news, because how do you get clicks on an article? Do you write the correct headline where you say this is the thing that's actually happening, or do you spice it up and twist the headline and maybe leave some information out to make it look a little bit more, spicy, make it look, you want to piss people off, you want to get people angry, because that's how you get clicks, is by getting an emotional response from people. So you click on a news article that you're like, what the hell's going on here? And then turns out the news article is not really anything about what the headline said, And now it's even become fake news. The idea of fake news of people, there's two different kinds of fake news in my eyes. There's the people that are just completely lying and making stuff up. And then you have people who are using AI to generate things. Completely made up. Completely fake. Now, AI is not the best in the world. AI has a million flaws when it comes to, there's no perfect AI for video yet, or photos. But AI is really good at coming up with headlines and articles really fast. You can, if you wanted to generate 100 articles in 5 minutes, you could do that with AI. And a lot of companies now are doing that. And it doesn't even have to use real information. It doesn't have to use anything that makes any sense at all. Most of the articles you read online are bullshit. And most of the reviews you see, most of the comments you might see on those articles are bullshit. And so that brings me around to the dead internet theory. The dead internet theory is essentially, depending on who you ask, there's a couple of different interpretations. But the way I look at it is that the majority of content on the internet, the majority of posts, likes, comments, the majority of stuff that is uploaded to the internet is done so by artificial intelligence being used by people to generate as much as they possibly can. So there are some huge YouTube channels that are just completely AI. AI writes it, AI draws it. They use AI to animate, and AI voices it. And there's no quality check done. There's nothing. It is just done with AI, uploaded to YouTube, and YouTube lets it happen. These websites let it happen because it drives traffic. But then part of the dead internet theory also is that a lot of that traffic isn't real either. And I can tell you, as somebody who has a website, joshbearhartlegendsandtales.com, shameless plug, I had to turn off, I would get alerts when somebody would visit the website because I wanted to keep up. And if there's anybody else, I wanted to see, like, am I going to get a sale on there? What's going on? And I would get so many hits. I had to turn off the alerts because I would get so many hits from what were very clearly bots coming to the website, scraping the website, up to and including, I know for sure that I got at least one because I got a letter in the mail. Didn't come to me. It came to the host of one of the shows that my wife and I are going to coming up. We sell candles and my books and stuff like that at different shows around Ohio. And one of the shows we have coming up, the lady got a thing in the mail to her address with my name on it. And she texted me. She's like, hey, or she called me actually. We got this thing. What do you want me to do with it? I'm like, well, send it over. Because she said it was something to do with the website, with the domain. I was like, I just had a couple of domains. One I let expire and one I renewed. So maybe it's something to do with that. Turns out it was a complete scam. It was somebody who had bought a domain that had to do with Legends and Tales and was trying to sell the domain to me. And they scraped her address off of the calendar on my website that has the upcoming events to send the thing to me. Like, this is what's happening out there now. And it's the same way with Facebook, with Twitter, with even TikTok is getting to this point. It's just bots constantly. It is people who are just trying to make as much money as they physically can by uploading as much content as they physically can, using every tool at their disposal. And to a point, I understand using the tools, but I don't know. I think there's something to be said about doing things the old-fashioned way, in a way. One thing that irritated the hell out of me, I used to do a podcast with a buddy of mine last year, and it was about cybersecurity and that kind of thing. And so we would record these episodes of the podcast. I would put the videos together and upload them, and then he would take the link to the videos, put it into an AI tool that would then cut up and make shorts to be used on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There was misspellings in the captions that I called out, and he's like, "Oh, that's normal. Everybody has that." They didn't always make sense. It wasn't always looking at the right person. It would just kind of clip around. And this is all automated, done automatically. And I said, "This is trash. I don't like this." Like, well, that's the way it's done. And true to what he said, if you watch a lot of shorts that are cut from podcasts and stuff, a lot of it is done by automated systems and AI, and it's trash. It's all trash. There's just so much of it. And even the stuff that's done by people, there's stuff that's done by AI. There's stuff that's not even real people to begin with. But even the stuff that's done by people is just trash because they're putting it through these AI tools and letting AI do all of the work for them. I don't go to like Fiverr to get book covers. I've had people tell me, we should go to Fiverr and get book covers. I've had too many horror stories of people that have gone to Fiverr, paid $500 or $600 for a book cover, and then it's AI generated. And they'll say, no, it's not AI generated, but it turns out that it is when you actually look into it, and it's people aren't doing the actual work. They're trying to pump out as much as possible because that's how you make as much money as possible. And they're diluting the pool, and they're making it so that things are worth even less than they were to begin with. Ad revenue on YouTube. Not something that I have to worry about because I'm not monetized, but ad revenue on YouTube goes down, has been going down because there's so much watered down content. It's not worth it. Advertisers aren't getting the money back on their investment that they would get with, say, a sponsorship when they do ads. And it's all because you can't tell what's real anymore. There is so much stuff out there. And how do you decipher? You've got websites like Snopes that can be helpful. But if you have to look up a Snopes article for every single thing that you look at online, what's the point of even going online? And that's where I think over the next few years we're going to see that we've had this problem, this buildup of becoming chronically online for a lot of people, where you wake up in the morning, you flip through Facebook, you flip through TikTok, whatever, and then throughout your day you're doing that all day long. You're checking your feed, you're seeing how many likes you have, and that kind of thing. And I think that is slowly going to start fading. It's already started kind of fading in a way. People have started to kind of disconnect a little more often, and I think that as we move forward, that's going to have to be that's going to have to happen, because if it doesn't, if we continue down the path that we're going down, you have the dystopian idea of something like, if you think of like Ready Player One, where you get in your VR headset and you see like just ads everywhere, but it won't be a VR headset. It'll be just like ads everywhere without that. You already have ads everywhere. You can barely open up your phone. I mean, I've got a Google Pixel 5. I refuse to update until I absolutely have to, because I don't want this AI technology on my phone. And there is AI built into it, even as an older phone. They're pumping out apps with AI, and the AI stuff I think is just, it's killing a lot of what makes us human. And it's making it harder to determine what's real and what's fake. When you get an email from somebody now, you don't know if they typed it or if they just told their email program, hey, put this email together and send it to this person. It's getting harder and harder to decipher. And there was an old South Park episode referencing AI where there's a couple of the characters, I forget who it was, but they were using AI to talk to their girlfriends, and they'd figured this whole thing out. The guys, they didn't know how to respond to their girlfriends, so what they were doing is they were using AI. It was Stan was one of the big characters in it, and that became the only way to respond. You get a message, you use AI to respond, and then it just becomes a normal thing to do. And I think that's becoming more and more the way that we're doing things, and I think it's going to hurt us in the long run. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that future become a reality, because things are hard enough as it is. It's already hard enough to know what's real, what's fake. But you inject even more AI into things, and it becomes, what do we even need to do anymore? Why do we need to know anything? There's no value in a college degree. There's no value in an education if AI is doing it all for you. It becomes very Idiocracy, I think, is the movie. It becomes very, very bad in a very quick amount of time if we continue down the path that we're going down. So that's my take on the dead internet and what is real. I think back to my childhood and how it wasn't as hard to know what was different, the difference between the two. But I think the switch really started flipping after the Blair Witch Project. A lot of people don't think about the fact that that's kind of where it all started. And it kind of just continued down this slope of just getting worse and worse and worse as time went along. Up to and including things like the History Channel becoming the Ancient Aliens Channel, that kind of stuff. Presenting things as if they were true history. This is a mockumentary, documentary, and that kind of stuff. Like, I think the lines, they're not just blurred, they're just non-existent anymore. And I'm hoping that we can, maybe come back from the brink, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect. The only thing I can say is, as a solution, maybe take matters into your own hands. Step away from the computer. Step away from being chronically online. Go outside. Touch some grass. Get out of the house. Take up a hobby. I've got photography, and writing is kind of a job now. I've become an author. That's my job. Photography is a hobby still. I go out, I take pictures, I take walks in nature, and I use an actual camera, not a phone, an actual camera that isn't connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form. And I take pictures, and I just enjoy nature and getting out of the house and trying new things, because we got to do something different. There has to be a solution out there, people. But I want to thank you all for listening. If you're on one of the many podcast platforms out there, or Patreon, if you're on Patreon, thank you for being a patron. If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. You can find me, like I said, on my website, joshbearhartlegendsandtales.com, as well as YouTube podcasting platforms. I'm trying to get everywhere at this point. So thank you all for watching, listening, all that good stuff. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.